I'm currently using the Hartzell Talon, by far the best aerobatic propeller ever come out.
I use the Trailblazer. It adds performance to the Super Decathlon and dependability, and it's rugged.
Hartzell's been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demand.
It's helping us all have better performing airplanes.
It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
Why take the risk of guessing the height on takeoff and landing when SkyVoice Alert 500 gives you audible callouts from 1 foot to 500 feet up and down? SkyVoice Alert 500 is the only FAA-approved takeoff and landing height announcer, and it also gives you reminders and warnings on gear, flaps, and more. Quick and easy install, Bluetooth or wired. Get yours today at holymicro.com and receive a $300 discount at Sun & Fun, booth D54.
The M700 Fury, an aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. With performance surpassing its predecessor, the M700 Fury has 20% shorter takeoff and landing distances, a 30% improved climb rate of over 2,000 feet per minute, and reaches a maximum cruise speed of over 300 knots. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
And good morning, Sun and Fun. As you can see, not quite as much sun as we'd like, but we're certainly going to have a lot of fun regardless. We are finally into day 3. We're excited about all the things that are to come. We're approaching the midpoint of what has been an outstanding expo so far. There's been no question that attendance is up, people are having a ball, and more important than anything else, Sun and Fun survives. It's our 50th anniversary, and the Aerospace Expo continues. We want to say thank you, first of all, to our sponsor of the day, King Schools, who are celebrating their 50th year in the business. Yeah, youngins, what can you say? And if you want to go out and get the best in flight training, check out their website at kingschools.com. They're offering 22% off if you use the code ANN. I wonder how they thought that up. Who knew? Alrighty, as you can see, the weather is not cooperating, and it's supposed to cooperate a little bit less throughout the day. They're talking scattered thunderstorms throughout the morning, windy during the afternoon with thunderstorms likely, and we actually have scattered warnings for all kinds of nasty weather. Potential for severe thunderstorms, high near 85, winds south-southwest at 20 to 30. Oh boy. And a chance of rain about 90%, which basically means in Florida, yeah, you guessed it. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it'll change. There's been a number of great stories here. A lot of them were made at the Innovation Preview on Tuesday. We've had a phenomenal response to that extraordinary event. One of the hits of the show last year and continuing into this year has been the Cub UL. Hit the sport aviation world by storm last year, along with the announcement of the Rotax 916. Production plans are now afoot. We are looking forward to the plane being fine-tuned over the next year and in production in 2025. The order book is filling fast. Let's take a look at the Cub UL.
Brad, last time we were here, we were talking about incredible plans for a Rotax powered version using the 916, which is when the engine was announced at the Innovation Preview last year, the Carbon Cub UL. I understand the program's made some headway. Tell us all about it.
Sure. We were here last year as Rotax's launch partner on the 916. So we had a 916 on an airplane in the booth. That was an early development prototype. I flew it across the country. I was super impressed with the Rotax then, and yeah, we've made a lot of development progress since then. We are very close to final lock on our cooling design. We've taken more weight out of the airplane. The Block 1 demo airplanes that are coming out right now, 930 empty weight on the airplane, and we still have more to do. We still have more stuff like engine mounts that we can go to titanium with. We still have more wet layup composites in the airplane that we can go to pre-preg with. We think we'll get another 30 or 40 pounds out of the airplane by the time we're all said and done. But right now, that airplane, if a guy comes and he buys that airplane and goes through our Builder Assist program as an EAB, he'll get an 1865 gross weight and an empty weight under 930, which gives the airplane more useful load than the empty weight. 930, 935 is the one we're flying out at Camp Cub Crafters this week.
So what's the future now in regards to production and availability?
So we are putting demo airplanes out in the field. The one that's at Camp Cub Crafters at South Lakeland, that's number 2. Number 1's at Aero Friedrichshafen. We've got another 3 or 4 coming off the line between now and Oshkosh. I think of the first 24 airplanes we're building in 2025, probably 2/3 or 3/4 of them are Carbon Cub ULs, people that have already signed up, those early adopters. And just this week, we've sold 6 or 8 airplanes on the way out here and here at the show. So it's we're off to a great start with the UL. I'm really excited to see what it does in Europe next week starting.
I think it'll be a big hit at Friedrichshafen.
I sure hope so.
And we're back. Pretty cool, wasn't that? Looking forward to flying the bird, either probably not today with the way the weather's going, but certainly by tomorrow we'll let you know what we think of the Carbon Cub UL. The 916 apparently has really been a wake-up call, so we're looking forward to seeing what the airplane does in combination with that power plant. I have had the chance to fly a lot of interesting aircraft over the years, and many years ago I flew an early version of the Hummingbird. At that point, powered by a Franklin engine before they upgraded to the Lycoming. And at that time, impressive little aircraft based on the Sikorsky S-55. It is now a legitimate 4-place helicopter kit, the only one that I know of. There's nearly 400 of them out there. They've piled up an impressive record of completions and an even more impressive accident rate, i.e. not much. And Brad Clark's Vertical Aviation has done an outstanding job of bringing the only 4-place helicopter kit to market. Let's take a look at the Hummingbird.
Tell me what's happening lately with the Hummingbird project.
Well, we've sold 370 kits so far over a 37-year period, and good safety record, and we're always doing improvements. We're working on, we've just finished an air conditioning system that's an option now, and also an electronic throttle governor that is in the works. We're not done yet, but getting real close.
Tell me a little bit what it takes to buy and build your own 4-place helicopter, because let's face it, you are in an industry of one.
Yeah, I am the only amateur-built 4-place kit, and I am the only experimental helicopter kit that's based on an FAA certified design. It was previously a Sikorsky. FAA certified. I own the type certificate now and all the engineering data. I felt that the market was there to sell it as an amateur build kit, and I believe it was a really good choice. We have a standard kit and a quick build. The standard kit is 1,200 hours, and then we have a quick build kit that reduces it to 700 hours to finish. And it meets the 51% rule, even the quick build does. And we do a lot. We assemble all the gearboxes, the rotor heads assembled, the blades are painted and balanced, ready to install, the tail rotors painted and balanced, ready to install. So most of the builder construction is building the fuselage. We supply a lot of the upper cabin already riveted together because it has the hard points, and the tail cones are all riveted together.
What's in the future for this project?
I'm kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with Mosaic, if they'll allow the 4-place helicopter to be involved, and without this simplified flight control stuff, keep it simple and safe. And that's what we have here, a simple helicopter, and it's safe.
Alrighty, folks, that was cool. I've been a big fan of Brad's. He's just been an outstanding member of the community, an ethical, professional guy, and we need more like him. So if you get a chance while you're here at Sun and Fun, take a look at the Hummingbird. You'd be surprised at what you can get over there. Believe it or not, the quick build version of that thing could be done in 700 hours flat. Pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to take a quick commercial break because Jimmy's got to eat. And we're going to look forward to a really intriguing conversation, one 14 years in the making, with GAMI's Tim Rail. If you've heard about all the politics of this and that with fuel and what's happening, what's the future, and unleaded and eco this and eco that, well, there's solutions. There's been a solution, and now that solution is in production. We'll be right back with Aero-News.
The Aero-News Network Sun and Fun Digital Daily Morning Brief, live from Lakeland, Florida, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Why take the risk of guessing the height on takeoff and landing when SkyVoice Alert 500 gives you audible callouts from 1 foot to 500 feet up and down? SkyVoice Alert 500 is the only FAA-approved takeoff and landing height announcer, and it also gives you reminders and warnings on gear, flaps, and more. Quick and easy install, Bluetooth or wired. Get yours today at holymicro.com and receive a $300 discount at Sun and Fun, booth D54.
Backcountry flying to us is our playground. For us, it's how we access the things we like to do. It's just our lifestyle. We exclusively use the Hartzell Voyager prop, and it's proved to be just a great combination for what we do. What it's doing, it's helping us all have better performing airplanes. Man, it feels a lot better clearing trees by 50 feet versus 20 feet. I don't ever see myself not flying.
The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. With performance surpassing its predecessor, the M700 Fury has 20% shorter takeoff and landing distances, a 30% improved climb rate of over 2,000 feet per minute, and reaches a maximum cruise speed of over 300 knots. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
And we're back. Meantime, my wife is making faces from behind the camera here, so any reactions are strictly involuntary. There's been a bit of news here at Sun and Fun here and there. We've been kind of scratching our head as to what's top 1, top 2, top 3. Well, top 1 may be sitting right next to me. Tim, you mentioned 14 years in the making. Tell me what the big news here is for Sun and Fun.
Well, we finally can announce the commercial availability of the G100 UL high-octane unleaded aviation gasoline.
How much?
We've got 1 million gallons that just passed its tests. It's made by a company called VTOL out of Houston. They're a large petroleum company, and they took this project on about close to a year ago, made plans, acquired a facility in Baton Rouge, and got the components, blended it, and we were hoping to have that news a couple days ago, but it just came through night before last. So it passed its tests, and it's ready to be distributed mostly to California, but a few other places as well.
Well, you guys were an overnight success. It took 14 years. Tell me about the politics that led up to this.
Well, there was a lot of difficulties, both within the FAA and industry as well. A lot of pushback. Change is hard, and we believed years ago that it wasn't going to get done properly through ASTM or PAFI, and so we kind of took the bull by the horns and formulated the fuel on our own, tested it in our test facility, as we were sort of uniquely positioned with probably the finest test facility in the country, some background in detonation testing, having done that several times in the past, and came up with a formula we thought would work, wrote a detailed specification around that formula, and FAA looked at that with a tremendous amount of scrutiny, multiple go-arounds of certification, verification, and now it's a reality.
So how will people get the fuel, and what can this community do to support seeing its current distribution and more distribution in the future?
Well, ideally, the existing avgas distributors, there are primarily 4, but 12 if you probably count them all, will start taking the fuel from wherever it's being made. First place is Baton Rouge. There's also a facility in Houston that VTOL has. We're talking to other producers as well. And they'll just transition their own supply, storage tanks, transloading equipment, trucks as able. We've given a commitment to the industry that wherever we start supplying the G100, we will maintain that supply before we expand elsewhere and cause a shortage. That's going to be important as far as orderly transition, and we're all about that. We're also very pleased to see the results from AOPA's Baron that is currently flying with the left engine running on the G100 UL and the right engine on 100 low lead. Kudos to Mark Baker and AOPA for stepping up and doing that. It's an excellent demonstration. The test results with about 160 hours on those new engines now are proving to be very interesting, with lower wear metals in the oil analyses, very clean combustion chambers. I think we're looking at,
No truth to the rumor that it wants to turn to the right?
I think not. So, the transitioning to an unleaded fuel is very healthy for the engine. They're going to benefit. I think we're going to have much lower maintenance issues, better reliability, better dispatchability, and hopefully longer TBOs one day.
Well, I like that.
Oh yeah, we think the G100 is going to cost a little bit more because it's got premium components in it, and in order to make the octane that we make, that's a little bit more expensive. But the maintenance benefits that we think that we're going to reap are almost fully offsetting for that. So a good day is coming.
So where are we likely to see it first, and what kind of distribution growth do you see? I realize it's a crystal ball that's a little fuzzy right now, but what do you expect?
Well, it is hard to tell. In California, there is a court settlement from 2014 that we call the consent decree, where the Citizens for Environmental Health sued 4 distributors and 26 major FBOs. A part of that settlement was that they all agreed that when a lower octane, and of course in our case a lower lead, in our case it's an unleaded fuel, is commercially available, they'll actually stop selling the 100 low lead. So that's a fairly compelling issue at hand that we think will cause California at least to transition fairly rapidly, a year or two probably, to the G100. There are also some legislative efforts that are at hand, not only in California but other states, to stop the sale of 100 low lead, as early as January 1, 2026, which is pretty aggressive in our opinion. But there's a lot of pressure out there, and probably when the fuel starts going to California, that noise is going to increase. Fortunately, VTOL has a large capacity for making fuel. If the distributors participate, as we hope that they will, in an orderly transition, I think most of California can be transitioned in a year to 18 months.
What can the community do to support your effort?
Well, education is important. There's a lot of disinformation going on out there about...
in aviation? Really? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, imagine that. So, we've tried over the years to educate people about the finer points of the fuel and the details of the specification. The fuel will be handled just like 100 low lead is handled in the field today. Material compatibility is very good. You can mix it with 100 low lead in any proportion. Transitioning at the airport doesn't require the tanks at the airport to be cleaned prior to putting in the G100. All those things are very important.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been watching the effort, been watching the politics. I've heard a couple of George lectures and so forth and so on, and I'm no stranger to watching people fight for what's best in aviation, but yours has been one of the most remarkable. And with luck, it will finally solve an issue that at some point or another likely would have shut down a good part of aviation.
Well, that was our goal. We realized that a long time ago, that the GA industry was at risk. We put a lot of effort into sort of defeating the 94 UL effort that took place in the 2010 timeframe. You may remember that, because most of the high compression engines won't run well on that 94 UL. And we were fortunate to get that pushed through, but we decided at that time we needed to go ahead and try to find the fuel that actually works and write a good spec around it.
Tim, how can people get more information on this whole program?
Visit the GAMI.com website or the G100UL.com website. STCs are available on the website. It takes about 15 minutes to sign up and get an STC for your airplane and engine. No changes required for the airplane other than the installation of placards. We're pushing the FAA right now to try to do a streamlined process such that if a pilot gets stranded at an airport that doesn't yet have, and he doesn't yet have an STC, but they only have the G100 UL, that he can go online and purchase the STC, download and copy the flight manual supplement, and then to give him a reprieve for a time period like the next scheduled maintenance when the placards can be installed and a 337 be signed. So we're hoping the FAA cooperates on that. That'll help to streamline the process.
Tim, we really appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us Thursday morning. I had to check on that first. The days kind of all spin together here. We will be spending a little bit more time with the GAMI folks on Aero-TV with one of our feature programs very shortly, and we'll have more information to follow. And I promise you, in no uncertain terms, as we have in the past, we will continue to follow this story For the moment, let's talk a little bit about the air show schedule for today, should there be an air show. First of all, the lead-off is the Polaris Ghost Squadron, a MiG-29, 3 Alpha Jets, 4 L-39s, and a Partridge... No, never mind. It's an interesting group of folks, and it's been an extraordinary spectacle to watch, and we're looking forward to seeing them do their thing. The United States Air Force F-35 demo teams. Yay, Air Force. Lee Louderback in the Crazy Horse P-51, Mr. Mustang. There is nobody on the face of the planet knows the Mustang better, has more time in the Mustang, or frankly has been more professional about the airshow business than Lee, and we speak highly and think highly of him. Titan Aerobatic team is bringing 4 T6s to the fore. The Aerrhythmia paramotor team will be flying, and with the winds they're expecting today, they could wind up in France by morning. Manfred Radius. Manfred is an interesting guy. He's a glider pilot, aerobatic glider pilot. I've known him for decades, literally. One of my favorite photos of all time was watching him do inverted ribbon cuts with a glider with a V-tail and getting the V-tail in such a way that there's a tiny bit of ribbon between the two stabilizers. One of the best photos I ever took, but it took like 20 tries. But Manfred, cool act. You got to see it. Eric Edgren in the T-Clips. Kyle Fowler in a Long Easy. Long Easy's rule. Ken Ryder in his RV-8. Again, RV-8's rule 2. Nathan Hammond in the de Havilland Chipmunk. Tora Tora's Bomb Squad. Pyrotechnics. My wife will be watching. Nobody likes fireworks more than Masako. And on final FX, Starfire Fireworks. It's going to be an interesting afternoon. We're looking forward to it. On top of all that, there's a couple of items we're going to bring to your attention today. Cool events. Introduction to Rotax aircraft engines at 0900 and CFAA-10. Commemorative Air Force presents Tora 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 at 1000 ET in Victory's Arsenal Theater. And finally, there's a presentation on the Fantasy of Flight program. Our buddy Kermit Weeks in the hangar, at the hangar. This is a hangar facility out near the press headquarters at 1100 Eastern Time. So, mind you, these are but 3 of, 100 or more individual features throughout each day. Sun and Fun brings you amazing riches. It's an extraordinary event. It continues to be an extraordinary event. This year is better organized, tighter run, and more important, lots more people here than ever before. Again, we will see you tomorrow morning at 0900. This is the morning brief on the behalf of the Aero-News Network, Airborne, all of our folks, our Sport Plane Resource Guide, and so forth and so on. You can see us every morning at airborne-live.net. You can see us at SNFDD.com as our Sun and Fun Digital Daily site, and of course aero-news.net online. Our senior producer, Nathan Cremasino, the brilliant Holland Lee behind the camera here. My wife's still off to the side making faces. We will not speak about this again, dear. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Airborne this afternoon. Don't forget it. We got a heck of a lineup on the program, and Holland's getting ready to go out and do her thing. Thanks to everybody. We will see you tomorrow.
The Aero-News Network Sun and Fun Digital Daily Morning Brief, live from Lakeland, Florida, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Why take the risk of guessing the height on takeoff and landing when SkyVoice Alert 500 gives you audible callouts from 1 foot to 500 feet up and down? SkyVoice Alert 500 is the only FAA-approved takeoff and landing height announcer, and it also gives you reminders and warnings on gear, flaps, and more. Quick and easy install, Bluetooth or wired. Get yours today at holymicro.com and receive a $300 discount at Sun & Fun, booth D54.
The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name and indomitable force. With performance surpassing its predecessor, the M700 Fury has 20% shorter takeoff and landing distances, a 30% improved climb rate of over 2,000 feet per minute, and reaches a maximum cruise speed of over 300 knots. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.